muy buenas tardes, mi raza. Today is Wednesday, November the 1st, 2023. Yes, we survived Halloween. I hope you guys had a beautiful holiday. And what I mean by that is making pretty and beautiful memories with your kids. You know, that's where it's at with your kids, the family, time with them, watching them smile, scolding them for the candy, all those little memories. You know what I mean? I know I myself had a wonderful time. I did do a little video, so I will upload it later on this weekend. It was amazing. You know, Pomona never disappoints. Got with my sister, we got with the kids, we went. Right before that, we took our girls to the cemetery for their annual Halloween picture with a grave. So it was pretty cool. We had a really good time, lots to look at. I do want to say one thing, if anybody in the or with the Pomona officials, I should say, is watching, think about putting like 3 porter potties for the closure of the streets right there. There's nowhere to restroom, and man, I had to cut my night short by at least an hour because I had to backtrack trying to find a place to restroom. Yeah, I know I don't want to catch an indecent exposure damn ticket and rap sheet, you know, for going beep in the corner somewhere. So yeah, that kind of sucked. But other than that, everything was good. I'll probably try to write a letter to the city because restrooms are very important. You know, you gotta go. Different people have different medical issues that they need to be by a restroom, toilet, whatever you want to call it. So yes, that's what I encountered yesterday, which kind of killed the mood. But anyways, it was already late. We had already done what we had to, so ya andaba yo nomás de mañosa anyway. But yes, saludos to my mother. Hi, Mom. I want to give a saludo out to my good friend Lobito. Yeah, we had talked a few days ago too, and he's like, I love Halloween, blah, blah, blah. He texted me yesterday. He's like, I hope you're happy on your favorite day. You know, I was. Thank you very much for thinking about me. I want to apologize ahead of time. There's no school today, so that means all the kids here in the area are home. The neighbors have zero respect, so I am very sorry if you hear them. It ain't my kids. My girls know how to. Like I mentioned, it is the first of the month, so if you haven't done so yet, please say your white rabbit 3 times for good luck throughout this new month. The year's literally over. We're days away from the end of the year, so yeah, it's cool, I guess. Cool, and this year flew by, honestly, like literally it flew by. We're already in November, like I said. Right after this is Thanksgiving. We got Christmas, New Year's, and that was it. Just a reminder, guys, it's that time again. If you guys already donate, thank you. If you guys do not donate, it's getting cold out there. We got our homeless folk walking around, running around, laying around, hanging out. If you have old blankets or jackets, maybe you can approach somebody and give them the extras you might have. If you feel unsafe doing so, I don't blame you. Some people are very unapproachable. Donations to your local pantries, churches, some churches take donations. Even those rehab homes, just anything that can make a difference, guys. For us, canned foods are no big deal. For other people that don't have it, it's a blessing. So yeah, just like I said, a reminder, every 3 months I usually do donations. I haven't been doing them anymore because the place where I would send them to, they got like sponsorship through Walmart, so they get a lot of the good new stuff. So yeah, I will eventually get with the community and see who might need help so I can continue doing it. Like I said, for the past 2 years, I have been collecting every 3 months, and it's a wonderful feeling to be able to help somebody that really, really needs it, you know? So, I don't know, in your area, wherever you guys are watching me, if there's different places that might take donations, it ain't a bad idea. You know, kids outgrow things, we no longer like them. and other people can certainly use them. Since obviously Halloween is done, our most favorite holiday, why not close up our Halloween season with a Halloween story? Yes, this is the last one I got going. Alright, guys, so I'm gonna take you back, all the way back to Halloween night, 1957. The setting is a house in Sun Valley, California. Okay, this story is about the Fabiano family. Let me tell you guys a little bit about them. So we have Mr. Peter Fabiano. He is the age of 35. He was a World War II vet. He, fought in the war. And he's from New York. Okay. Now he meets a beautiful, beautiful, ay Dios mío, redhead, right? Her name's Betty. She's 36 years old, so she's a year older than him. She has two teenage daughters from a previous marriage. She was married for a while with, obviously her husband. Okay, so Peter meets Betty, blah, blah, blah. You guys get the picture. They get married. They decide to come out to California, here in the LA area. Somehow they end up buying this property in Sun Valley, so that is where their home is. Okay, he has a salon, a beauty salon, does hair, this and this and that. Betty works with him. So they run this salon and it's super successful. They end up opening a second location, and these are here in the Los Angeles area. Okay, that is the key here in the story. Okay, so vamos a lo ocurrido, alright? Like every marriage, it sucks. No, just kidding. Like every marriage, you have issues, right? You have problems. You don't see eye to eye. People just do not get along. Whatever. Okay, so this is what was going on with their marriage right now. They're not getting along. They don't like each other. They're just fighting, arguing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so Betty and Peter have these two salons. Of course, they have employees. They have a newer one, and her name is Joan Rabel. So she is a 40-year-old divorcee, and she's like mysterious slash weirdo slash what are you up to? Her background was photographer. She did some writing, and she used to sail boats. Yeah, that's what her and her husband used to do. They used to leave from here, the San Pedro Harbor, y se iban a Honolulu, Hawaii. They did this a couple of times during their marriage. Once again, now they are divorced. So this is how Joan lands this job at the salon with the Fabianos. Well, Betty and Joan become really good friends. Really good friends. Like, too good of friends, if you're catching my drift. They continue to have issues at home, the Fabianos, so Betty grabs her kids, packs her bags, and moves in with Joan to live. Peter's really threatened by this friendship. He'd say it's abnormal, and in those days, the word abnormal was the representation of lesbian slash homosexual. So he was aware his wife was running around with this employee. Or so he thought, because Betty never admitted that part. But we'll get to that later. Okay, so Betty is living with Joan. Whatever, this and this, they're happy. But Betty's missing Peter. So she tells Joan, hey, like, this is fun and all that, but I gotta go back home. I can't be doing this. Back then, this was the 50s again. The year was 1957. Being gay was not the thing. People frowned on it, chismeaban de eso. It was just not a good thing to be at that time. So Betty had a reputation to keep being shop owner with the husband. She just told Joan, I'm going home. I está, we're friends. You hold a special place in my heart, but this cannot continue. So she grabbed her girls again, grabbed her stuff again, and went home. Okay. Meanwhile, she's readjusting home, reconciliándose con el viejo y esto y lo otro. Joan is crushed and heartbroken, and how dare Betty leave her to go back with her husband, right? So she starts hating on Peter. She starts hating, like literally hating from her heart, like you stole my woman, like I hate you. Okay, she somehow meets another woman who was also a divorcee. Her name was Goldine Pizer. Okay, so Goldine is 40 years old also. Like I mentioned, she came from a cover-up marriage and is recently a divorcee. And what I mean by cover-up is exactly what it sounds like. She was married to a man just to cover up the fact that she was gay as well. Okay, she was a medical secretary, which she had a job at the children's hospital. That was her actual title. That's where she worked. Well, Joan and Goldine like quickly started like falling in love, like they were fast together. According to everybody, they were coffee friends. I guess that's when the coffee dates started. But yes, they would go grab coffee and just shoot the breeze and spend every taking second together. Okay, so aquí empieza el plan con Maña. Joan starts talking to Goldine about her best friend Betty, que pobrecita, she's married to Peter. Peter's a piece of shit. He beats her up. He's so abusive. He belittles her. He overworks her. Probably don't even pay her. You name it. She was just putting dirt all over poor Peter for no reason. Goldine's like, poor Betty. I can't believe this poor lady's living this life. So Joan's like, ha, I know, right? OMG. Like, it is horrible. Poor Betty. We should try to do something and maybe beat Peter up or show him, some manners, blah, blah, blah. Something along those lines, right? Okay. In 3 months that they were hooking up and doing the coffee thing, Goldine was like whipped over Joan. Like she sincerely and genuinely was in love with Joan. So they plot the plot. That was the goal, to kill Peter. Okay, so Joan gives Goldine money to buy a gun. Goldine drives over to Pasadena. She buys a .38 revolver, a Smith & Wesson. There they go. This is step number 1 to the plan of killing Peter. Now, since it was close to Halloween, these two plotted. It would be the perfect opportunity to get him now, considering it's Halloween. People are in costumes. You could dress up. They won't even know what's going on. Goldine said, whatever you say, I am here to please you. Okay. They decided that, yes, that's the night, Halloween night, Peter is gone. They park across the street, down a few houses, where they still had visual on the Fabiano's house. All of a sudden, they seen their bedroom light go off, so Joan told Goldine, you know what time it is. Goldine said, okay. She gets her little mask. She grabs her little paper bag that had the gun in it, and she makes her way to the front door of the Fabiano's house. It was 11 o'clock p.m. Peter was about to lay down. He had just pulled the covers off the bed to lay down, and he hears the doorbell ring. And then he hears trick or treat. So he's like bothered, like, ugh. But it's Halloween, they're kids. That's the holiday. He comes down the stairs, and Betty heard him open the door. Betty's daughter Judy, one of the girls, also hears todo el relajo on the stairs and the ding dong and the trick or treat. She hears this voice where she thought it was a man trying to mimic a woman's voice. It said trick or treat, and right away they heard Peter say no, and then they heard a pop, pop, and that was the end. Nothing else. By the time Betty ran downstairs, her daughter Judy was right behind her. Peter was laying in a pool of his own blood already. And she's like, wake up, get up, Peter, what's wrong, what happened, blah, blah, blah. Judy runs across the street to the neighbor's house. The neighbor's a police officer. So she goes over there to tell him, hey, my stepdad just got shot. He's on the floor, blah, blah, blah. The neighbor calls the ambulance, the paramedics come, blah, blah, blah. They check Peter out. He's not like wow at all. So they take him to the Sun Valley Medical Center, the hospital, and that's where he's officially pronounced dead. That's it. There was nothing else they could do for him. Okay, at the same time, Goldine shoots him and runs to the car that's parked across the street. Joan has it on already. She gets in, they speed off. There was only one eyewitness that caught all of this, and it was a teenager. I looked through several of the reports, this actual article. It doesn't say if it was a guy or a girl. All it says is a teenager saw what happened. They witnessed what had happened. Okay. Joan takes Goldine to a location, and they burn her clothes. She was wearing a pair of blue jeans, a khaki jacket, red gloves, and she had like a little domino mask to cover her eyes. Now, the account that was told that it sounded like a man trying to mimic a woman obviously was backwards. It was a woman trying to make her voice thicker to sound like a man. Goldine, yeah. Well, they burn her clothes. They burn it. Okay, the evidence is gone. Joan continues to take Goldine home. She borrowed this car from another friend too. So imagine your car is involved in a murder and you have no clue. What kind of friends are these? Whatever. Okay, so she returns her girlfriend home to Hollywood in a borrowed car. Goldine gets off. As she's getting off the car, Joan tells her, forget you ever knew me. And she just leaves. Okay, so here we are. The next morning, Goldine still has this gun in her possession. She's like, what the heck do I do with this pistola? ¿Qué hago? So she was like, okay, I'm not gonna call Joan because she told me, forget you even met me right now. She decided to go to LA, and she dumps this gun in a storage locker. I'm not exactly sure what, are these random lockers? I don't know. Once again, the articles I read all say the same thing. So she dumps this gun in there, and somebody sees her because 2 weeks later, on November 12th, the cops come knocking on her door. They say, hey, Goldine, ven pa acá, chiquita. We got an anonymous tip that a gun we found in a storage locker had your fingerprints all over it. And once again, the anonymous tip says they saw you throw that gun in that locker. She's like crying and tells the police, oh my goodness, I'm so relieved that this is all over. Like, she was actually glad to have gotten caught. Alright, they get her, handcuff her, take her downtown like they do every other criminal, and start the whole interrogation process. Turns out they had already thought that Joan had something to do with it, considering the friendship that she and Betty had. They had already had her in custody a week prior for questioning, but they released her because there was nothing that tied Joan to any of this. Okay, well, now that they have Goldine and she's just spitting everything out. I'm in love with Joan and we're gay together, and she wanted me to kill her best friend's husband because he's abusive, he's the devil, blah blah blah. The cops are like, oh, so Joan did have something to do with this. They walk over to Joan's house and they arrest her as well. Vámonos. They have both women detained, arrested. At first, they're convicted of first-degree murder. They both claim innocence. They're like, nah, we're innocent, this and that. Like, try to claim insanity that because she was so madly in love with Joan. The words in love and stuff like that were never mentioned. They were just used in terms of. So it's like, I was just mad over her, stuff like that. Well, the courts took all this gay slash lesbian relationship into like full account. They looked at it like, and they came to conclusion that being gay back then was a serious mental problem. So they dropped the charges from first degree murder to second degree murder. They gave them both 5 years to life. It doesn't say exactly how much of their term they were in prison, but they were both released. They were. Goldine, once she got released, she did live in LA until she died. It doesn't say if she ever redid her life with somebody else. It just says that, she was released, she continued living life here in the LA area until her death in 1998, and she was 83 years old. Now, Joan, on the other hand, it says nothing about her. It's like she literally disappeared from the face of this earth. Did she sail out to Honolulu? Nadie sabe. No se supo nada de ella. Betty, yes, once things were done with Peter's services, death, this and that, she sold both salons. She moved away to Palm Springs area, I believe. She remarried in 1966 to be exact, so it was like 9 years later. And yeah, she continued to be married till her dying day, which was in 1999 at the age of 81. Very tragic story. From other reports, this and that, it says that Betty never really admitted to being in a gay relationship with Joan. A lot of people, everybody involved in this whole, que oyean los chismes, this and that, they feel like maybe Betty orchestrated the whole thing and put the idea into Joan's head, like, if Peter was out of the picture, you and me could be. Who knows? I wasn't there in 57. I don't know where you were in 57. But it is a very sad and a very tragic story. Here comes the moral all over again. Don't cheat. Cheating never ends up anywhere good. Look at who you're cheating with, because, a lot of people just damage their entire life to be with somebody crazy. You open your door to crazy, and crazy's there, and it don't go away, and look at what happens. It's sad. Very, very unfortunate all the way around. So think wisely, guys. I'm not here to blame or point fingers or tell you no. I'm just here telling you this very sad story. So yeah, that was the story of Peter Fabiano that got shot on Halloween. One bullet to the chest ended his 35 years of life here on earth. So that's the story I have for you today. Unfortunate, very sad, but you gotta admit it was kind of, entertaining to listen to. mysteries and crime. The pictures that I loaded are obviously not mine. Like I said, I wasn't around in 1957. They are just for reference purpose, guys. I got them from Wikipedia.com. Anyways, I love you very much. I will give you a quick short one later, superstitions. And that's it, guys. You got it from me, La Comadre B. I los miro al rato. I love you guys. Bye.